I bet.
You can record and stick it together. Now here he goes with his mankini.
If he had a mankini, he'd have a huge cock. And if it was showing, it's stretched like a rock. But not just any small one that is big, and one that can be compared to the chip. But I don't have a mankini, and I haven't seen his dick, so I can't look at it and compare it to the chip. And also, mine's is tiny.
Let's go. Welcome to the Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and we got one hell of a guest today, and boy, look out, it's going to be a fun one. And that is...
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Guitarist.
My God. Hi. You get a hi out of the guy. That's a... Hi. How you doing? Oh my gosh, help us. Don't you know who you are?
I'm just a guy.
Well, hello, just a guy.
Oh,
How did
boy.
you start everything?
Guy?
And what are you
Okay.
known for?
How'd you get... Here we go. That's what he wants to play on. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Here you go. You want my question or Lion's question?
Both.
Okay, I'll start with mine. You are...
Guitar Senpai.
There we go. Now your question, sir.
What are you most known for, Mr. Guitar Senpai, and how'd you get started with everything?
I play a series of types of like musical pieces. Mostly I try to like stick to anything classical, flamenco styled. People in VRchat got to know me like based off of playing electric guitar and a few other things as well. And recently I just sold almost all of my electric guitars. I only kept the first one, so now I'm sticking to playing only fingerstyles and classical and flamenco.
Oh, so with what pulled you into VRchat initially, may I ask? What from your musical background?
VRchat actually started off as like something just like hang out with people because after you know like being a while into the military, it's like you start feeling like everything is very sociopathic from the people you talk to. Even then, like with your leaders, your command, your your fellow sailors and stuff too. It starts feeling very toxic, and you're just like, shit. Well, there's nowhere to go to, and I'm not home, so it doesn't feel like I'm at home. Also, don't mind those explosions in the background. I promise nothing bad's happening. I just live in Compton.
It's also the 4th of July.
Yes, it is. But yeah, if he blows too much of a thing line, you just say it's just he's got the farts. You shouldn't eat the beans.
So
fireworks or gunshots, the hood may never know.
Oh, we'll hope you never have to find out.
What? Gunshots, fireworks, or him eating beans and farting? Which one you going with?
Hey, all three, bro. Gotta love the.
It's a lottery. All right, I like the lottery. What the hell? I don't play it, but hey, what the hell?
Well,
I got you.
I'll start with this. Thank you for your service, Guitar. It's much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
For your taxes as well.
So, with that said, when did you start playing music then, Mask, and what pulled you into the military as well?
I actually didn't have like much at all growing up. So essentially my room at the age of, was it 11 or is it 12? It was one of those two. My family was going through a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean it's like it would be considered hell for a lot of people. For me, I thought it was a completely normal thing until I went to VRchat. People told me, it's like, damn, you had a really abusive household, and I was like, I did not know that. Like, for instance, like a lot of people told me I didn't have like the basic living necessities, so it's like my room was literally just a chair, an amplifier, and a guitar. That's it. And I still remember the guitars that I had, which was my first guitar. It was a Schecter prototype that I built at the what's it called, the Schecter factory in Sun Valley, California. It was a PV Viper VIP1, which is I think at the time a 20-watt amp. And then just some random raggedy ass chair, you know, like kind of like the shit that you would use to like water the lawn.
I got
Whoa.
a question for you, Wayne. I got a question for you. What? Why did you go towards the guitar instead of any other instrument out there?
In a way, it's just like I had nothing else to do, and plus it's like I wasn't really allowed to go outside much because of the area that we lived in. So I didn't even get a chance to make that many friends like when I was growing up and stuff too. So most of the time I was just silent. I would you pretty much just stick in my room, play guitar. I got my own headphones so I could plug it into the amp so I wouldn't like get hit anymore. And I would just play guitar by myself in my room.
Oh, wow. So
Okay, understandable.
the genres you mentioned you're most known for, what pulled you in those directions specifically, Mask?
I would say that would be the fault of a professor named Evan Hershelman. Very, very good instructor, though.
Hmm.
And honestly, one of the people who helped me out the most. Like, if anybody wants to take his college class, he works at what's called East Los Angeles College. I highly recommend you take his courses. All of them are insanely great. And holy shit, it's changed my life so much.
Hmm. Okay. So you mentioned earlier you also joined the military. What was that experience like, and did that help you with your music at all?
Uh, it was average, I would say. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it in a way. There was
Hmm.
goods and bad parts of it. There's a lot of stuff that it's like it's so hard for me to talk about.
Hmm.
I did lose quite the amount of friends. I lost a fiance out at sea, and by that I mean like she had her life taken away in front of me as well. So if anything, it's like it's gonna sound stupid as hell, but it's like the guitar is literally one of the only things that like actually kept me going on with it, along with the people I met along the way from Vrchat. So I just kept on, trying to pump out music from myself as much as I could, and trying to cope with everything that happened because it was very hard to find anyone to talk to at the time.
Oh, sorry you had to go through all that, guitar. Sorry you had that kind of experience.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, if anything, it's like I know those friends and fiance would want to know that I'm doing well and that I'm trying to do something with my life. And although I dearly miss them, I do remember a lot of good memories and stuff. And I
Hmm.
usually tend to make music like most of the time, like whenever I'm very very upset, and when I compose those, people tell me like, "Wow, that shit hit." And I'm just like, thank you, thank you. And then I don't know how to respond because usually I make it out of anger, I make it out of sadness. Like I need to be in like a really messed up mood for me to make a song.
Hmm. So it's like an outlet for you for whatever you're feeling, man. Is that correct?
That's about right, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, at least it's not like one of the things that are like, more one of the more extreme things, like self harm and all that other stuff. It's nothing like that.
Hmm. At least it's
Okay.
more constructive than self harm and stuff like that nature. Well, I'm glad at least to have some outlet, even though it sounds like you went through quite a lot.
I mean, more than likely, if anything, it's like had I not picked up the guitar or met the people that I met, I'm gonna be honest, I would have probably been returned home with a flag.
No.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
Gotcha. Understandable.
Very much
Guitar,
so.
guitar. When you're playing your music and stuff like this, what's one of the hardest song that you ever tried to play and took you the longest to play?
Easily, it all goes towards things like um timing and as well as like syncopation. So I do have a piece that it's essentially something I technically wrote, but I didn't because it's kind of like a cover. It's a song from my professor actually. It's called Pace and Approach. I'm gonna be recording it really soon. Next week I should be getting a brand new guitar, thanks to the help of a friend named Voicemith. He ended up he's the one who purchased all my electric guitars in return, so I can get that guitar that I call Sophia.
Hmm.
Okay.
So this guitar, Sophia, you mentioned what made you choose that guitar in order to while selling all your others to get it.
I I played a Sophia roughly about 2 years ago. This was at a Sam Ash. I think it was the one in Hollywood.
Mm.
And I still remember to this day that was perhaps the most nice sounding guitar that I've ever played, and it looks beautiful, and even the rosette around it, it's beautiful. The pickups on it sounds heavenly.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So, also of all the pieces of music you've written over the years, what is the most sentimental to you?
Uh, More than likely, it would be the one in my albums currently. It's the one called "In My Dreams," and that one essentially, I remember my current boyfriend now. He was listening to me play it the first time, and I remember he had other friends around as well because I was just trying to test out to see how the chords would sound and everything because it was not in a normal tuning. It was in a completely weird tuning, and the only people that I know that have done it is like John Mayer, and that's about it. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna try doing something with this and seeing maybe I can progress with myself on this, and I did.
Mm.
So within that song, a lot of people told me it sounds very repetitive. It's meant to be extremely repetitive, and it's one of those songs that it kind of signifies what it's like to go crazy.
Mm. Okay. So, what was the moment that made you write this song, and why pick "Simulating Going Crazy" musically as a choice?
I would say mostly it's like it was the loss of one of my friends recently in the Navy. He decided to commit, and
Oh.
I had to go visit his family, and I had to be there with a flag with them, and it just it hurt so bad having to like look at his mom and his dad and and telling them what happened because their fucking chiefs couldn't say shit. So it's like, what am I supposed to say? I wasn't there. And from then on, they didn't want to speak to me because they thought it was my fault. They were like, well, why didn't you do something about it? Why didn't you help my son out? Why didn't you be there for my son? And it's like, I couldn't, and I did the best that I could. And, I'd message him every day. I'd call him every day and make sure he's doing okay because I knew how he was doing. And it kind of feels messed up because I did everything I could in my hands, and his family telling me that. And I was just, at that time, I started telling myself, look, am I really useless to the majority of people I speak to? And that's like, it hurts.
Mm. Well, if you reached out to him and talked the best you could, that's all you really can do. How can one really know when someone's feeling that way? Most times you never really know until it's too late.
Honestly, I do wish I was there for him more often. I really do. Same with my fiance. I wish I was there at the time. Well, I technically was. I can't really go into detail on what happened, or like I said, you're gonna have to censor this video, and I don't want to do that.
Mm. Well,
But essentially, my
mm,
shipmates chose me over her, which
um,
that also messed with me quite a lot. Because then it gives you that mentality of why wasn't it me and why was it them?
mm, well, I'm sorry you have to live with that. That must have been very taxing on you.
It's it's hard to live with. A lot of times it's fucking painful just waking up. I'm trying to my best to get help for it too. It's the VA right now is currently at the moment just doing my stuff, and I got it out in 2022 in December, and they're just starting to start up this process to try and get me my help that I need.
Mm.
And maybe if I started it sooner, I would have been better by now. But it is extremely hard just to wake up every day. It's hard to even go to work. It's hard to look at my mom. It's hard to look at my brother. it's hard to even look at myself.
So is
I
the
got one for it.
True.
Try to change the gears a little bit, not to take you off the subject at where you're at, but when you come into VR, what are you looking for when you play guitar?
Honestly, the majority of what I look for is just making sure that other people enjoy the music that I play. Because I notice that there's also other people that have a messed up day. I notice there's other people who don't have the best of life. I notice there's people who don't have the best positive friendships. I know there's people who don't have the best family relationships. I know there's people who don't have the best relationship either. So the majority of what I like to do with music, because I went through so much already, and music helps out. I play it for other people, and hoping that it helps them out, help them feel better, give them a more cheerful mood.
So of all the avenues and venues you could play your music at, why VR over anything else in real life? Or YouTube or anything like that?
I do it a bit for TikTok and YouTube. It's like very, very slight, but the only thing I really do on those is just release music. Um, for VR more, I'm able to see your emotion through your body expression. And leaving the military, I have a lot of anxiety. It's hard for me to talk to most people. I mean, like you could see, I'm very nervous right now for the interview as well. But in general, it's hard. It's really hard just to talk to anybody outside. So I try to build my confidence up here in hopes that if I go busking outside with a guitar, I'm gonna be able to do it no problem and not mess up.
Has VR helped you with that at all? Like talking with people and interacting with others?
I'd say so, and honestly, the hardest part of it, I would say, is I judge myself before I talk to anybody. So then I just feel like I'll look at the room, I'll read the room, and be like, nope, that group's not gonna like me. That group's not gonna like me. That person's not gonna like me. And I try to read the room before I even talk to anybody. Because most people would just be like, oh, let me just go talk to someone, spark up a conversation. I don't do that. I usually kind of like read the room a bit before I even want to talk to anyone.
What makes you want to read the room before interacting with people, may I ask?
More than anything, it's just I don't want people to have a negative, what's it called, confrontation with me, essentially. As like I don't like verbal harassment and stuff. And it's like the only times that I ever do that within game. It's like if I get confronted with verbal harassment first, since I'll start talking bad at like 1,000,000 miles an hour in hopes that you go away.
Okay. Well, one thing I found.
I got one for him, Line.
Shoot.
Go ahead. You already got it. Go ahead. You go ahead. You already got it. Okay, since make up my mind, boss. I'm confused. Okay.
So am I.
When you came, all right, you want a bowl? Okay. I asked this question to everybody and everything else like this. When you first came into VR, right? What was the weirdest thing you saw and you thought it was weird and had to get the heck out of there? Or you were just literally confused?
I don't know if I can say that. It's that bad.
Oh wow! Oh, hey,
Actually,
well, we've had a few of those, folks.
I can summarize. I can summarize it.
Okay.
Fornication in a midnight rooftop with buzzing sounds.
That's oh my god!
It wasn't
that's
like moaning or anything.
right there.
I just heard like a, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That reminds me of the first time I saw that exact thing. I remember I was in a drinking night, and I was probably really early on in my VRChat explorations. And up in the upper right is two people doing the wrestling, and I had their avatars turned off. And so it looked like two cacti wrestling each other. And then one of them accidentally unmutes, and the entire mirror just tries not to look. But as they're making their noises and doing their interactive dance, one would say. They're all just kind of awkwardly not stare as they're kind of fornicating in the corner.
Like, Mom, Dad, why are you wrestling nude? It's hot.
Mom, I just went into a weird VR chat world and heard some funny noises. What?
Nah, the worst part is, like, hear me out.
Mm.
So, upon this, someone came into the world and said, "That's my mom." And I was like, "What?" And like, "That's my mom." I was like, "You're like your VR mom, yeah?" And they're like, "No, that's my actual mom." I was like, "Why are you here?"
Oh my.
Oh no.
And he said,
My
"Because I want
God.
to."
Oh
Ding
my
ding ding ding
gosh.
ding ding
Yeah.
ding. Ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Hey, Mom! Yelling it from the room across. Can you turn it down a little bit? I'm hearing you in stereo twice over. It's getting bad. Oh my God. Would you...
What happens in the family stays in the family.
It's in the family. Gotcha. And it's only a hallway away. Think about it.
You know,
God. Oh my God.
those instances of that poor kid's gonna have that haunt his dreams. Poor kid's gonna have to think about that for
No,
fucking ever.
that or he's gonna harass the hell out of his mother for the rest of his life and give her crap
Honestly,
every
I
time
hope
she
it's that
mouths
second
off. He's gonna
option.
drop it.
I really hope it's that second option. That shit would be funny. Imagine your kid just bullying you over a game. Crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, you know that situation you had? We go to church tomorrow. You think I should tell everybody that what was going on? Thanks for the game, Mom. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, goddamn
Just
kid keeps
imagine when that kid
blackmailing me.
gets
I'm never gonna
older.
live it down.
Just imagine that kid gets older and the mom tries to discipline the kid. He's like, "I seen what you did in a drinking night. I don't respect you, Mom." So, question for you.
The worst capable possibilities in life. ERP.
Yes. Yep. So, question for you. What have been some of your favorite places or instances you've played music in VR chat? Since it sounds like you've been here for quite a while.
Honestly, as bad as this sounds, it's still the Black Cat.
So, question.
The Black Cat's always where you
why?
get everybody that begins. It's always where you get everybody that begins, and so like they look at it and they're like, "Wow," you know. It's like you get that wow factor. But then here's the nice part about it. Because you get them into the musical side of it, right? They're not going to be going into VR chat and expecting to go find bad stuff, or they're not going to be going to fish out bad stuff. So they're going to be like, you know what? I want to see if there's any other people with talents as well. And that's something that helps out along the way with everybody else who's like a content creator or anything like that. They will look for those people and being like, I want to support them.
Okay. That's a very interesting point.
That's a good one.
You know, I've seen a lot of people who've been in VR chat a while avoid the Black Cat for like it being a cursed place, but that's kind of a really good point for giving back to the community, in a sense, is guiding those new people away from the cursed shit. Because you all know what some players do in the Black Cat.
Plus it's like a lot of people as well. Like when you go to the Black Cat, you know, like there's the people who like they will stare at the mirror, and you know the people who are above the age of 18, they start saying things like, "I hate kids." I'm like, why do you hate kids? That's a little, you know, strange. Like you shouldn't hate a kid. Like more than likely, kids just curious on, you know, what's going on in the game. They want to get into it. They want to be able to interact with everybody. And you know, they're human too. They have feelings, and it's like they'll talk crap on these kids, and it's just why? It's like you could just show them around, and like you don't have to friend them, but you could be nice to them as well. You don't have to be mean to them immediately.
Yeah, I've noticed VRChat has that, or a lot of the veteran players kind of have that mentality. But also, I think a lot of people, you kind of have a point. Kids are sponges, so whatever you do or say, they absorb too.
Yeah, they absorb it like a sponge.
Like, why are these kids being racist, or why are these kids cussing me out, or why are these kids being really mean? It's how they got into the game in the first place. That's why you see a lot of kids with the nuisance rank now.
Well, to be fair, at one point in age when you're young, a lot of kids just want to be edgy or cool, so they tend to say dramatic things in order to fit that. We've all went through that stage at that age, saying crazy edgy things.
I think the most impressive thing I seen a kid do that was a bad thing So I asked this question a lot to people for no reason. It's like pancakes or waffles. And be like, so what? You don't like waffles or you don't like pancakes? You know, just to cause controversy, right?
Mm.
And this kid asked this to this couple, and they both answered differently. And they're like, no, I fucking hate this, and I fucking hate that. And I was like, yo, what's going on? Then they start bringing up all of these past bad experiences and break up with each other on the spot because of this kid. And this kid's just laughing his butt off at this couple. And I was like, yo, it's crazy stuff.
It sounds quite crazy. So,
Sure
what have been
does.
some of your more favorite experiences playing your music in public?
Repeat that one more time. I spaced out.
What have been some of your more favorite experiences playing your music in public in VRChat or in public in general?
Well, I would say I did find a lot of cool people recently on what's it called? On in the Black Cat. You know, one of them being I believe you met him already, Noob Slayer. And Noob Slayer, you know, he likes to do memes and stuff with the guitar, and it's something that I really love all the time. Like he'll play that Allstate Insurance theme and stuff for no reason, and he'll just loop it over and over, and there'd be like tons of Allstate themes all at the same time playing at different times. Very chaotic. But overall, I would say it's like I'm happy with how he's progressing in guitar. He's wanting to take lessons from me and everything. I'm really happy about that because it's like I'm able to change someone's perspective on music, where it's not just I need to learn one genre and one genre only. It's I like when people want to learn multiple things at the same time because I'm just like, all right, cool. The brain is working actively as they are playing this instrument, and they don't want to stay stuck in one position. They want to be someone that is diverse.
So, is it easy to teach someone guitar through VR or other means, or how would you teach this person guitar?
So it's not that easy, because a lot of times I do have to explain things like chords. I do need to explain like certain scales. I do need to like different types of modes for the guitar. I need to explain all of that. And if the person isn't ear trained, it becomes a lot harder because then you have to explain it with numbers and you have to explain it with string names as well or string numbers. So, you know, if I tell you first string fifth fret or E string fifth fret, high E fifth fret, you know, it's some people don't know what that means because they all play by ear sometimes, but don't have perfect pitch. So it makes it a lot more difficult than it should be.
I feel sorry for him, Lion, when I get my guitar and he said he'd teach me. I feel sorry. His brain's going to be like Jello on a Friday night, going, God, how many drinks did I have before I started this? Yeah, he's going to need a lot of.
I mean, you'll be
I
chilling
feel
at that
sorry
point. Don't
for
worry.
it.
I got mad patience. I had a 3 or 4 year old student. They were playing guitar. This was also in Los Angeles because I used to do a little bit of business for guitar. This is before I joined the military. I got that kid playing extremely complex stuff in a matter of 2 months. And I was surprised. Kid was fucking better than me, dude. And it was like I was like, yo, what is going on, man? And he's like, oh, is this the stuff you taught me? And I was like, I didn't teach you that. And he's just shredding away, doing extremely crazy stuff. And I was like, wow. I learned off that kid.
Oh, wow. How often do you teach people like that kid or the Noob Slayer you met in VRChat?
It's not very, very often. If people ask me for help on music, I will help you out. A lot of the times, one thing I do see a lot in VRChat is it's very a competition type thing with a lot of the guitarists, which is another reason I don't add too many of the other guitarists. They are very, very competitive all the time. You know, who can play the fastest, who can play the sickest sounding riff and stuff. And instead, they think that whenever I play out loud, I want a competition. That's not what I want. What I want is someone to jam out with. And that's usually what I want to play as. Which is, again, I do a lot of rhythms. I do mainly rhythm. Even if it sounds like lead, anytime that I play, it sounds very rhythmic. And a lot of people then start, you know, playing all these solos and stuff. And it's like, I always tell people, if you do solos, awesome. But if you're shredding every 5 minutes, it's like cussing with your guitar. It's cussing within your sentence, how you speak. If you cuss every now and then whenever you speak, it enhances, you know, your vocabulary. You know, like when you say, wow, that was delicious. Well, damn, that was fucking delicious. There's two different things. But if you cuss throughout it the whole time, it just makes your sentence sound like garbage. Same with guitar. If you only shred and that's all that you do, it's gonna sound like garbage. And a lot of people do not understand that. Because then whenever I ask, people are always like, I tell them, how long have you been playing? And usually it's a year and under. And the year and under players think that the shred is the coolest thing and that's all they should focus on. When in reality, you should be working on your polyrhythms, rhythm, metronomes, modes, scales, chords. That's all you should be focusing on, not just only shredding.
Mm. Okay. So I have a question for you as well, based upon some of the things you said. Two, actually. One, what is the difference between lead and rhythm, and why do you think the guitar players of VRChat are competitive?
So I can give a demonstration actually of leads and rhythms. So, there is a song. It's by Trippie Redd. I play it so much. I've annoyed a few people with it already because I've been practicing it so much. But rhythms, like this to some people sounds like a lead. This is a rhythm though. It's just so you have that as rhythm, right? You could sing along with it, and even if it's fast, you can sing along with it. You can rap with it. It's something that's nice. When I mean people want to play leads, you start getting stuff like it sounds cool. Yes. But I promise you, if I played that for 30 minutes straight, you would lose your mind. But if I do the rhythms and I sing along with it and I solo every now and then, it sounds perfect. And that's what people forget. Music's all about a constant beat, a fucking non-stop drum. And that's the main part that people end up forgetting. That non-stop drum is whatever's in your brain, whatever's in your heart, push it out. Even if it's your feelings, push it out. And try to put it out in rhythm. And then, only then, can you work on your leads right after.
Okay. So why do you think that VRChat guitar players are competitive and always trying to shred and do leads?
So one thing that I'm always noticing is if there is a group of guitar players, nobody will play a full song unless they're an acoustic player who loves rhythms. And at that point, your lead isn't your guitar, it's your voice. And it usually fits perfectly. With the guitarists that play electric guitar and only want to play electric guitar, usually it's only distortion, and they will not play to a backing track, they will not play with a song, they will not play with a drum beat, nothing. And they will stick to, just doing the crazy stuff on the guitar. But it only lasts for, at max, 25 seconds. And to me, as a guitarist, if you're going to call yourself advanced or intermediate, you better be able to complete a song. Because then at that point, I still consider you a beginner.
Okay. So what causes the competitiveness, may I ask? Because music doesn't seem like a thing you could be competitive in. At least to me, it doesn't anyway.
Surprisingly, in VRChat, a lot of people see it as a competition. And the reason I say that is because how the guitarists see it is, I could get the most bitches or I could get the most guitarists to surround me type thing. And then it's like, if I play the loudest and the fastest or the coolest, that means everybody's not going to play guitar, only I play guitar kind of thing. Meanwhile, I'm not like that. Whenever I have my instances and stuff, I will play my guitar and then I give you a turn. And then I give someone else a turn. And then I can go back to my turn. And we do, like passing the blunt type thing,
Okay.
And that's what people don't understand. It's all about being humble as well. And that's how you usually get better as a guitarist as well. It's also, there's discipline within this, It's like when you start learning classical, there's so much discipline within it. I still remember one thing that my professor said to someone because they decided to go all out on a song. I keep forgetting which one it was. But it was an Edvard Grieg piece, and it was a solo piece for a classical guitar. And this person decided to shred the hell out of the guitar at the end. And I still remember he said, what was it? I had a lot of respect for you coming into this class, and many good things were said about you, even about the dean. and I thought you would have more respect for the classical arts, but clearly I can see that's not for you. You don't belong here. Please get out of my classroom. Don't come back and stop playing the guitar.
Wow. That's pretty harsh.
Yep, that kid left crying.
Come here. They're doing a podcast. Come over here.
So what kinds of thing? How would your teacher teach guitar? Then I may ask. It sounds like he had a lot of respect for the art and the music.
We started off with this book called The First Book of the Guitar. It was by Frederick Node. It was actually one of the best books that I've read. Like, because prior to him fully teaching me, I was doing some self-taught stuff. I was doing tabs and all that. And tabs tells you, where exactly to put your fingers and everything, and it helps out a lot with the guitar, but to an extent. So when he told me, "Hey, buy this book," he said that to the whole class. Everybody was like, "Well, this is stupid. We're getting this. We're not gonna learn sheet music right away." That book tells you exactly how you should hold a guitar, how you should hold it on the back of the neck, how you should fret your guitar, how you should put your fingers in positioning classical style. And he wouldn't let you learn any music theory until you got all of those correct. He was very strict.
Oh. So may I ask, is there any difference between those who are self-taught music players versus classically taught through a teacher?
Yes, that would be more towards their play style. You heard me earlier play guitar and stuff. I keep a constant rhythm, and it's a mental rhythm. I constantly have this mental rhythm, and I don't leave that mental rhythm. I constantly have this metronome going on in my head. And whenever it comes to the other guitarists and stuff, those guitarists will not have that mental rhythm. The ones that are more in the self-taught section. So I try my best, to teach everybody, like, hey, play with a metronome. Hey, play with a metronome with your foot. Do this. Try keeping time with this. And anytime that they do pay attention to me, after about a month, I see an extreme amount of fucking progress. And it's just like, oh my God, I am proud of you.
So what is the importance for a metronome to learn guitar or music?
Discipline. Always discipline. Same with when you're driving a car. You decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to run this red light. What's going to happen? Another car's going to come and crash into you. Same with the guitar. You don't use a metronome, you will get stuck, or your solo or, rhythm is going to sound like bad. And I mean bad, like to a point where you're just like, and you pause the song. Meanwhile, with classical, most of the people that I know, they will fix up those mistakes within a matter of seconds.
Oh. So what about the metronome do you think helps people find those mistakes or creates that progress wave?
With the metronome, it at least tells you where exactly you're supposed to go, essentially, within music. So, you constantly, with this beat, right? And a lot of people don't usually move from here, but you can have, your quarter notes after, and then your eighth notes. And people don't realize those matter so much. If I grab a random guitarist right now off the black can, I tell him, hey, play me Flight of the Bumblebee. Here's a tablature because it's the easiest thing to read. And I tell them, play it specifically at 150 BPM. Play it exactly at 180 BPM. They will not be able to. And usually, if they do get to that point where they can play at around that time, that's the only song they will not be able to play. And the reason to why is it's that discipline. You're going to want to rush with it. And then because you want to rush so much, you're going to get hit. Same thing with when you're taking a test. You have to practice most things before you take this test, or else you fail the test, right? Even with a car, riding a bike, you need to practice with training wheels before you're able to, use a regular bicycle.
So,
and if not, you could be one of those that were just hard as hell in life and just got a regular bike and, fell down until they got it.
So with this lesson with the metronome and patience and in order to learn music like that, did you learn that yourself? Or was it through your music teacher you were able to pick that up?
That was through my music teacher, and I still remember I cried because I made him upset so many times when he was trying to teach me the metronome. I was a child, and he was yelling. He's like, "Why can't you get this right?" And I would start crying and stuff, and then he'd be like, "Do it again," and I'd keep trying and trying. it took me also about a month to be able to get the metronome just right, to the point where he was satisfied. Not proud, but satisfied.
Hmm.
Took me about 6 months to get it to where he was proud.
Now, when he had you play music to the metronome, was a certain song he had you play, or was it various songs over the course of the month?
It was a various amount of songs. So, the basic stuff, Mozart, Beethoven, Edvard Grieg. And then later I got into neoclassical. And he was like, you may play neoclassical for the class if you're able to keep in time. And that's why I started playing things like Yngwie and other guitarists and stuff,
Okay.
But then I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of playing other people's music. I want to make my own music. And then that's when he started teaching me about music composure. And honestly, that was probably one of the best classes I took, because then I took one of his songs and I made it into my own song. It's still a cover, but it's very, very different from what he plays. The only thing that's about the same is the intro.
Okay. I have another question for you. What is the difference between playing someone else's song and learning that way versus learning to compose music through guitar and creating your own? Is there a difference between how that works and play style?
Well, it's the same as well, like drawing. You can give someone a stencil of a cat, but if you want someone to draw a realistic cat, those are two completely different skill sets. I can give you a stencil and you'll draw a perfect cat, but that's not your cat because it was made off a stencil, which is someone else's work. However, you take those art classes and you put your time and effort into drawing shapes, into molding shapes, into being able to blend everything together, being able to use shading correctly, colors correctly, etc. That is your piece of art at that point. It's of a cat, but no one else made that cat but you.
Okay. What was one of the things that your teacher taught you that stuck with you the most?
It's actually it's an exercise we came up with together. I usually use it to test people in music to see how nimble they are with their fingers, with dexterity. A good majority of them get half of it. I could play it right now as well. So it starts off easy, just easy so far, right? But then you get to the part where me and my teacher were just like, you know what? We're gonna make it hell. And people cannot do that part once it gets to that speed. And then a lot of people are just like, well, why do you need that? The reason that's needed as well is that is played with a metronome. I don't know if you noticed, there's a constant beat. Even when I'm like just hammering on that note, there's a beat with it. And that's where you have extra discipline with it. Because it's a fun thing to do, but if you don't do it with discipline, it sounds sloppy.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier that you're teaching people. Is there anything that you were taught that you bring with you into your lessons that you teach others?
I would say more than anything, it's what my teacher told me that I try to teach to everybody. Whenever they want to learn finger style, I always tell them, you never use the same finger on the same string more than once. Because then, again, you're playing it sloppy. There's a difference between versus you skip more notes. So right there, you can see as I'm bouncing back and forth with just one finger versus two fingers, I skip notes or I will play all notes. So if you use the same finger over and over, you are likely to mess up extremely.
Okay.
Same with picking. There's this thing called economy picking. So economy picking, it was mainly made famous by another guitarist. His name was Eric Johnson. Plays Cliffs of Dover. Plays a piece that goes versus what people do usually, which is just tapping. But when you have economy picking, it sounds a lot cleaner. I can't do it at full speed, which I'm still practicing on. And it's like you pick with one hand and you pick with your pick. Or, I messed that one up. It's as long as you get the full ring of the note. And a
Mm.
lot of people don't realize that. So a lot of people will try to use things like distortion and stuff, or overdrive, and try to cover up that mistake. And in my opinion, it's like, cool. Again, you love metal, but remove the effects and practice without the effects. You will master the guitar, because then now you know exactly how you sound. So when you add all these effects, it enhances your playing.
Mm.
Like adding salt to a cookie or adding salt to your food.
Hmm. So, whenever you have you ever talked with anyone who wanted to learn guitar because of metal, and what did you have to explain to this person if you did? That the difference between like learning to play and versus what they thought it
Well,
was.
the majority of the time, the way that I end up like telling them, like, my conditions are they're not gonna learn metal until later. I
Mm.
tell them, I promise you'll learn metal, but it's not gonna be instant. That's gonna be later on, once you have all your fundamentals down. Once you have all your fundamentals
Mm.
down, only then will I teach you how to do metal stuff and how to compose it yourself.
Mm.
But the people who try to learn just metal right off the bat, ask them to play any genre. I want you to do that at some point. If you go to the Black Hat, just ask any metal guitarist to play any other genre besides anything related to metal. And that could be things like jazz, it could be things like pop, it could be things like classical, flamenco, etc.
Mm.
They will not play it for you. And they're going to hit you with the same thing. Well, I play the music that I want because I want to play the music that I want. I don't want to play what you want me to play. Then you have your humble guitarist to be like, yeah, you know what? Give me a second. Let me pull up sheet music or tab, and I will give it a try.
Mm. Okay. Well, in most things, whether it's be martial arts, drawing, or even guitar, the fundamentals are always important. It's the basis of whatever it is you're trying to do.
Essentially, kind of a lot like jujitsu. If you don't learn how to roll your way out of a situation, you don't learn how to somersault or backward somersault, you have a possible chance of breaking your neck or your knees.
Hmm. Okay. So, in your travels in VR and VRChat, were there any musicians that surprised you or taught you something in your adventures?
Along the way, so this was actually probably before VR chat. I started going to the National Association of Music Merchants convention at the age of 15.
Hmm.
I was sponsored by a company called TTM Guitars, which stood for Taller Than Midgets. And I was like, that's kind of funny and gimmicky. I'll see what they're about. And after playing for a while, it's like I started picking up from those guitarists and stuff, and I was like, cool. And eventually, I got invited to a team. I was like, hey, we want to sponsor you because of how you play. I was like, well, I don't have as big as a following as you think. And they're like, no, it doesn't matter. You're still a kid, and that's kind of what is going to highlight everything. Like, adults will want to play like you. And I was like, oh, I appreciate that. I had a signature guitar made for me.
Hmm.
It was called a TTM Devastator. It was in seafoam green with a gold Floyd Rose, which is what everybody calls the whammy bar. The nut of it was gold. And I had crosses, religious crosses, as my inlays made of mother of pearl.
Hmm.
And the guitar itself, again, seafoam green. The neck was made of maple. And I had some really, really high quality tuners. And I remember they told me, hey, we're going to release your guitar for $2,000 to everybody. And I was like, no. What are you doing? And they're just like, oh, so we can make money off it. I was like, no, if you want me as an artist on your company, you're going to make this guitar affordable. I was the only person who had a $400 signature guitar that outplayed the majority of people's guitars in that convention.
Really?
And people ate it up like crazy. I had a good amount of money as a kid like that. And I was really stupid with it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I bought really stupid stuff.
Hmm.
I should have given it to my mom and be like, Ma, save this for me and give it to me in the future. But I was stupid and I bought a lot of stupid stuff. But that guitar essentially is extremely hard to come by now, and there's only one in existence that I know that I can possibly get back, which I'm currently trying to do because it was such a nice guitar. But if you find my guitar for sale, you'll probably find it for around 4,000, I believe.
Hmm.
But the one thing that did change me, it was upon meeting famous artists. This is the second time that I went to the NAMM convention. And at the time, I remember I was going through a really rough moment, and I was thinking about quitting guitar on the spot. And I got to meet so many famous people. I was able to meet Eddie Van Halen before he died.
Wow.
And I asked him for his autograph, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just here with TTM and X5 Audio." And he's like, "Oh, nice. How long have you been playing guitar?" I gave him the amount of years that I played guitar. And he's like, "Nice. So what are you planning to do with it?" And I was like, "Honestly, I want to quit." He went extremely angry on me. And I remember I never expected to see an artist extremely angry at me. And he started cursing at me and started telling me, like, if I ever catch you not wanting to play guitar, I will beat your ass. I was like, what the fuck just happened? But because that man yelled at me and said all that stuff, I decided, you know what? It's not time to quit. And literally, because of Eddie Van Halen, I kept playing.
Wow.
So then I went to the next time convention. And I was able to meet someone who I still have as a friend. And holy shit, is he amazing at guitar as well. And this other woman too. So the two people was, one of them was named Mrs. Smith Cat, which is ironic with her name because every song she has some meowing in it for some reason, like an actual cat meow. But plays really sick guitar. The other one was Rob Scallon, which is a very, very well-known YouTuber. And I remember meeting up with Rob, and I was just like, "What are you doing after this?" And he's like, probably just gonna like go skate or something." I was like, "You want to grab something to eat?" And he was like, "Hell yeah." So I paid for his meal, and we started hanging out and stuff. Then we went to my booth, and I showed Rob, my signature guitar, and he was astounded by it. He was like, "Why is this only $400?" As he was like really confused. And I was like, "I just want to make it affordable for people." Ever since then, me and Rob have been like extremely, extremely well on terms and stuff. Every single NAMM that I go to, I go and meet up with him. We go and grab something to eat. Then along with that, that's when I started meeting even more popular people. So it's like I have a giant network with people, and people are just like, "Well, why don't you just collaborate with them?" And again, it's all about being humble. It's like I'm not going to go and use you for what you have to offer. In reality, with the artists and stuff, like us self-independents, what we really look for is just see like who's got my back and who wants, to actually be friends and doesn't care about the money. Because the money's there. It's always going to be there. The friends aren't. And once you have enough money, friends are so hard to come by. And that's the one important thing that I still remember picking up from Rob himself. It's once you go into music, if you make a decent amount of money off of it, everybody's going to be, wanting to look at you kind of like a ATM and not as a friend. Because then they'd be like, "Oh, well, let's go out to eat. You're paying, right?" It's just like, what the fuck? Why am I going to pay?
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing from somewhere. I wish I remembered where, and if you somewhere in the audience know where this is from, I'd very much appreciate you putting it down below. But whatever problems you have, money exacerbates. It makes it worse, whatever it may be anyway. So if you're not happy and content yourself when you apply more money, it tends to just worsen.
That sounds about right. I remember when Rob Chapman went down completely because of the stupid shit that he was saying. He was going through a lot himself already. But man's made millions. Like, the one thing I would say that messed up his career the most is getting power hungry. He saw money, he saw views, he saw subscribers, he got power hungry. And using words like, "Well, when you have as much power as I do, just use that in a video." And I was like, oh no, this man just ruined his rep. And lo and behold, still to this day, his views are only 10,000. How do you have 1 million subscribers and you only get 10,000 views a video? That's not even 10% of your base. And that's usually about how much people should go for whenever it comes to stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, there goes a car in the background.
Wow, that's got rhythm.
You're not wrong.
It's really jamming, folks. It's got a good beat. Now you just got to put a guitar to it. Maybe a set of drums, and you got yourself a new song. There you go. Just go there.
Just quick little rappy, like fucking.
No, you're doing it wrong. What you do is you go over, you start getting everything to go over, and you smack the guy's car so you can get the rhythm, and you can hear it in the background, and you just keep playing.
So, I have a question for you. You mentioned that you spent some good time going to this convention. What were some of the things that you look forward to and you've learned from this convention that make you keep on wanting to return?
I've learned many things. I've learned when I'm being used, and I've learned as well when people are actually trying to be helpful. I've had certain companies seek me out only because they see a possible way of money. And then when I try to help them out, they don't tell me, well, you don't know what you're talking about. We do things the way that we do, and you're going to do things the way that we do. And they don't want to work with you kind of thing, But then there's other companies, and you're just like, I love working for this company because they listen to what you have to say, and they know that you connect with, your base, essentially. And as long as there's that communication, that little trifecta, that's a successful company. So it's like, I've had, I think it was called Rowan Audio. They made guitar pedals. And I was like, cool. So when are we releasing them to, big box stores? And they're like, we don't plan on doing that. We plan on just doing Amazon. I was like, oh my God, you guys are going to mess everything up. And they're like, no, we're not. I was like, you guys hype this up at fucking NAMM just to not bring it out in public? And they're just like, well, we're going to ship them from China. And I was like, again, because you want to like make everything so cheap, no one's going to buy it. They're going to think it's a cheap pedal. And I get that making it is not that much money. But the amount of hype that you guys put around it just to not release into a big box store, people are going to think like, wow, it was so bad that the big box store didn't accept it. So now they're just selling on Amazon. And with that being said, that company is gone. It doesn't exist no more. And it's all because they didn't want to listen to me. But then there's other companies like X5. And I remember her name was Nancy. Nancy was the only one who listened to me. And I was like, Nancy, let me get the U2 off of you for free. In return, I promise we'll be able to get into the big box stores within like, I say 2 years. And you'll actually make a decent amount of money. Oh, there goes that car again.
Wow, that beat just got a whistle in it there. Did you hear that? It just whistled its way and goes boom. And the car's going off. Oh boy, this is going to be great, folks. It's going to be interesting now. Yeah, I got a whistle with the guitar and then a little boom at the end and then the car go off. But he's trying to he's not going to tell you that he's actually having a friend out there lighting him for it. Gotcha. Makes sense to me. Just
free sponsor.
Free sponsor. Car noises. Yeah, new type of. Oh my God. Hey, Billy, get out there and light this. Hurry up, man. Oh, okay, I'll sit here and talk. Time in. Okay. Boom. Wow, he's off beat.
Though, with X5 though. So going back to X5, I will say that has been perhaps the most successful company that I've seen come out from China, in my opinion. Same with Donner Instruments. Donner did it differently though, which is they did it through Amazon and they contacted people after uploading it to Amazon because they wanted someone to review it that's, non-biased. And they did a great job. I love the Donner products. I have one of their jazz guitars. It's one of the ones I'm going to ship out. And it plays essentially equivalents of Gibson. And I was like, okay, cool. So I have this $400 guitar that plays like a 6,000. I'm happy with this. With X5, it's a wireless system. So I can literally walk around my house and keep playing guitar while walking around my house. And the majority of people make these for about 400 and up whenever it comes to buying stuff like this. This one's only like about 150. And I was like, it's probably going to be garbage. And I played it at NAMM, and I was like, wow, holy shit. And they let me keep one of their test products, essentially, the prototype ones. And I was like, awesome. So I started getting to work on it, and I started talking to other YouTubers and stuff, and one of them did pick it up, which name was Ola England. And then, only then, did the company end up getting reached out by Guitar Center, Sam Ash, Musician's Friend, Sweetwater. And all those companies were just like, yo, bring that shit here. That stuff sounds good. And they're still being sold to this day. But that's because they wanted to listen to me. And that's the main part that I always want in companies. Eastwood Guitars is the same for me as well. They're always in contact with me. If I tell them, hey, I want you to re-upload this for me, they will re-upload it to their official accounts. And not only does it boost their follows,
You heard
Oh my
every car go off
God.
that time.
Holy fucking car going off that time, folks. Holy shit, now he's going to have to really keep up the beat. God damn it. Bill, I said rhythm, not fuck up the whole fucking 9 yards. I'm fucked. You gotta roll the window back up. Yeah, no problem. God damn it. Son of a bitch and Billy always fucks up my rhythm every time I tell him to let one go off. God damn, I'm going to have to work with him.
I will say
God.
though, with Eastwood, it's one of the more professional ones that I ended up going with. That's actually the first company that asked me for an electronic press kit. I didn't know what the fuck that was until they contacted me. I was like, what is that? And they're just like, oh, so you don't want it? I was like, no. I want this endorsement. Just let me find out what this is real quick. Give me 1 second. I'll come back to you in like 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I made my press kit. And that album, the bedroom recordings, I made it in 1 day.
Oh,
because
wow.
I wanted this endorsement that bad.
Wow. So if you made an entire album, the bedroom recordings, in 1 day, how many hours straight did you work on it?
One.
One.
One day.
Oh, wow.
Meaning he didn't get much goddamn sleep. He just sat there and he's just doing it in his sleep and he was just recording it. He's a sleepwalking guitar player.
My ass would probably just be like.
Can you imagine doing that though? Imagine sitting there, you're just playing and going, what the fuck? That sounded good. I'm awake now. What the fuck did I just do?
So
That sounds so. Oh, fuck! I
do
forgot
have
to
something
record
that-
the bitch.
I do have a piece of advice. Sorry, a lot of smoke. I do have a piece of advice that I can give to everybody that plays guitar when it comes to music composure. And that's like whenever you're deciding, like I'm about to fall asleep, stay up and do the Albert Einstein thing and stay up as much as you can. Have some keys with you and drop it into a bowl only when you're about to fall asleep. And once that kicks in and you drop the keys and you wake up, you're going to go and grab your guitar and you start recording immediately because that's when it's fresh in your mind and you get some of the best music as well.
Hmm.
And people don't really know about this. Same way when you start drawing, when you do equations, when you do all kinds of research and stuff, you start thinking like, why didn't I think of this before? But it's because your mind is constantly in that state of adrenaline. And when you're in adrenaline, it's a panic mode. And you'll do anything to calm down that panic. So when you're playing the guitar, something that should calm you down, you will not calm down until you get it right.
Hmm. Okay.
But if you have anxiety, don't do it.
Well, there's going to be statistically one person who's going to watch this and immediately start doing it and then take the headphones off just as you say, unless you have anxiety. And they're going to be gone already before you even finish.
That'd be a bitch.
There could be that one person.
Always there's that one. Yeah, you know how it is, folks. You get that one person, you're going, oh, wow, he's paused. Is he awake? Hello? Shut up, man. I just had an idea. God damn it, I got to write it down and throws his helmet off and the gear off and he starts writing his shit down.
That being
Paused.
said, there is a song, which is that cover song I was telling you about that I made 11 years ago. That I do want to play for everyone here.
Of course,
the only person who's heard it fully is my boyfriend and Noob Slayer. That's it. Everybody's heard snippets of it, never the full version. So The first time anybody's gonna hear it is gonna be through VRChat. I'm gonna be professionally recording it by next week, and not in 2 weeks, and it'll be available on Spotify as well.
Guitar, before you get started, hope the bang doesn't go off in the background while you're playing.
Now it's more likely to do it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jinx it, but hey, I got a gut feeling it will. Just got to go bang, and people are listening, paying attention. I'll hear you this big boom. You're going, is that part of his song? How the hell do you do that?
Uh-oh.
Wow. That was really beautiful, Guitar.
Yeah, nice job, Guitar. The only thing that was great, a little off on it, was this cop car and sirens in the background.
Well, if you didn't say anything, people would have thought I'd been a part of it.
Hey, I want to make sure that they don't think it's going. Wow, how do you get the guitar to sound like a siren when he's playing it? Go, yeah, it's that one extra note way down here I can't touch, but it's just pinging. Sounds like a siren.
So I still remember when I made that. I wanted it to cover exactly as it was. And Professor Herschelman threatened me with a DMCA if I played it in public, and it was exactly his cover. And I was like, oh no. And he's like, however, make it into yours, and you may play it as much as you want. So that's what I did, and I stayed up for 2 days straight trying to make that song my own.
Now, Guitar, I've got a question for you. Have you ever put lyrics to any of the songs that you've made of your own?
So far, no. That's only because then my lyrics would be not safe for life.
Oh.
Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense. I've heard some of the I've heard some of the little stuff that you throw off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard some of those. Yeah, you're going, what? And you're going, are you serious? Yeah, I even did one for Lion. That one you have to specially ask Lion on that lyrics. Yeah, on that lyrics. Yeah, it was funny.
So I've got a question for you, Guitar, as well. What are some communities, whether VR or real life, that people should join for if they're into music or guitars or anything of that nature that you know
of? I would say, all in all, a lot of the DJ ones, surprisingly, they do accept a lot of guitarists, and I do see it's very, very rare, extremely rare, but there are some DJs who will play guitar. As in like Cozy Club, there was one person I still remember her. I can't remember her name, but I will remember her if I see her avatar or I hear her play guitar. And the reason why she doesn't mix as in like mixology as everybody else would, let me switch this song, change this drop, and make my own drop. No, she'll play the full song, but she'll play the guitar with the full song, and it sounds nice each time. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And with Strange Pair, I looked at it, and I started noticing. I was just like, why is the music here different compared to what I would hear you know, in most of the club scenes or, you know, people had a mirror, they had a live musician. And I was like, that is amazing. And I still remember, I can't remember their name either. But they had a furry avatar, and he was playing the flute, and he was playing it very beautifully, very subtly, and it was just the right amount of emotion with it. And I was like, this is nice. Voice Smith then ends up decides to go out of his way and introduce me to Perry. He's like, oh my god, Perry, you gotta meet this guy, you gotta meet this guy. I was like, I'm just a guy. And then he tells Perry, like, yeah, he's been playing for 12 years. So I ended up getting invited to the Strange Pair to play guitar. And I decided to do 2 hours of jazz, which I was only doing memes. And everybody loved it. And I was like, all right, cool. So I decided to play through the fire and flames within that jazz piece. With distortion and everything over the music. And then Strange Pair came up and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I just started playing stuff like that back again normally.
Why do I feel like that Through the Fire and Flames and jazz would sound kind of funny, but also dope?
It was weird. So it was like those exact chords just. Meanwhile, in the background, you just hear. And he just came up like immediate.
Oh, so another fun question for you: how is music at the Strange Pair different from the other venues like VR Underground or any other places?
Well, there's your answer, Lion. I don't know how you can beat that one. That's a good question you have there, sir.
All right.
Yeah, you threw it right out there.
Listener, you listening other side of the camera, this is a drinking game now. You're going to go back to this stuff, and anytime you hear a fireworks, car horn, or a cop car, you're to drink.
You like are that. Fucked. There's so many fireworks going on. Nah, they're all gonna come up. They're all gonna come up to your video and just be.
No. I'm shit-faced. What were you talking? What did you want me to ask? I'm confused. I heard about 12 of them go off in the background. Oh boy.
You want to be?
There's a shit ton going on right now. That's like at least 20 shots that you guys are gonna have to take. I apologize.
If I want to be a dick, every time you hear a car horn.
Every horn?
Oh,
every beep is a new drink.
Oh, God.
A sip.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Poor ass will be on the other end, be so slow.
Don't listen to me.
I don't like this game. I don't like this game no more. It's
Someone's
too confusing.
Pause at the exact moment and start doing it the moment you said it. There goes another one.
Jesus Christ. Well, we really picked a good day for this. Well, it's great to have a fucking interview on 4th of July.
So, back to the question.
Though, for Strange Pair, though, the biggest difference that I see within, like, I've had a lot of DJs tell me, well, I am a live musician or a live performer. The difference is, when it comes to performance arts, I'm not seeing you make those beats on the spot. I'm not seeing you make these songs on the spot. But whenever I put a guitar in your hands, I put a piano in front of you, I give you a flute, I give you a saxophone, a clarinet, etc., whatever it may be. At least I know that's you making the music on the spot. And that's something that's euphoric in a way. Because then I'm not listening to something that has been recorded. It's something I'm only going to hear in that moment.
Okay. So, do you frequent the Strange Pair?
I go there a lot. I've only played once. I do plan on playing more for the Strange Pair. It's as long as it's good with my schedule and Pair's schedule.
Okay.
That's mostly just due to my job.
Okay. So, are there any other communities that people should look out for good music in VR?
I would say that would be actually the place we were just at. I forgot its name.
PJKT?
Yeah. So, I remember Raptor was telling me, he was like, hey, guitar, since you like playing your guitar live, there's actually a great booth over here so you can play guitar. And I actually listened to him at this point, and I was like, I don't know, because I do want to play, for Metaverse Degen, I attract people here. But because I went to that booth, I was able to meet about 4 other different musicians. And they just kept stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. I was like, holy shit, how many people here play music? And to the point where they noticed me today. And they played me the song Sad Machine by Porter Robinson. And they played it at the booth for the Metaverse Degen. And it was just a bunch of Hapu avatars. And oh my god, it sounded beautiful.
Wow. What was the booth that you went to, may I ask, to give them a shout out?
Here, wait, let me look at my groups because I'm very, very bad with memory. It was called the No Friends Friends Club.
Oh, they're a really cool group of people. I've seen them a few times and even talked with one of their reps. Good group of people if you ever want to join one.
So if you have no friends and you want to make friends, but you're scared to make friends, but you want to make friends with friends who are also scared to make friends, you can make friends with people who are scared to make friends, but make friends with people who are scared of friends.
Friendception.
Why does he just sound like an ad on TV?
This is gonna be one of those moments.
No.
Oh, you mean one of those medicine ads? If you or someone you love has made a friend, please contact this number now.
Tiene mesotelioma, por favor, llame a 1-800-636-3636. Otra vez eso va a ser 1-800-636-3636. Llame a los defensores ahora.
What?
Yes, I remember.
I got lost.
Well, trust me.
May I ask what the ad was for?
So originally it was for mesothelioma, then they turned to accident attorneys, then to criminal attorneys, and then back to accident attorneys because they felt so many criminal attorneys.
Oh. Also, you, listener, Drake.
Yeah, we had another boom in the background.
Oh. Well, Guitar, I will say thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to meet you and learning all about you. So thank you again.
Of course, and likewise, it's awesome being here with y'all. Again, I am very nervous. I am very socially awkward. But if you guys do want to hear any of my music, you can search my name, Guitarsenpai, on Spotify, Amazon, any streaming platform. My music's on there, including Vrchat. When it has like the music and chill world, you can search my name and it'll come out right there as well.
Oh. Everything will be the Hoobly What's It down that way. If you're going to go down in the thing that says description and then hit more, down that way, everything will be down there. Also, before I hand it off to you to do the thing at the end of it, I'll ask a question. What's your favorite musician? Let us know down in the comment section. After you know the thing.
Yeah, and I don't even have one with all the boom in the background. I don't know which way I'm coming or going, but no matter what we do, folks, I always think I got a light under my ass. No, did I fart? No, I didn't shit my pants. But if you are in VR, and you bump into this gentleman and everything else like this, the man can play. You might not think so because it sounds a little different here and there, but no matter what chord you think you're in, there's a big boom in the background. He's just waiting for it to kick up when he has Billy go out there and light one. We'll talk to you later, folks. Have a good one and have a good 4th. Have a blast in the ass on the 4th. I hope you all had fun and be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
At least it's not a song about a mankini.